I want to talk to you about what I believe is a superpower that I have that a lot of people don't have. And I realized that the first time I got my heart broken. So I mean, it was not the very first time, but the very first time that somebody breaks your heart, you are devastated because you believe that you never gonna like love somebody this way. It's never gonna be the same. Oh my God, you, yeah, you were pissed. You a mess. I remember going to my mom and telling her, it's over with Natalie, and my mom was like, nobody will love you like I love you. But I was like, but I love her, and then after, I don't know, that was probably in '94, and maybe after 6 months, 6 months, 8 months, I don't remember, I had a new girlfriend in Belgium. She was more beautiful. She was she was hot, and I was now going back and forth between between Brussels and Paris by car. And yeah, that was my second girlfriend. And the first love traumas. And when I think about it, the second time that I really, really, really fell in love, that was probably in 2001. I don't remember. And when that one broke my heart, I went through the same things, but my engineer brain was understanding the path that I was going through to recovery. It was not like the first time. The first time it was just bad, and it felt like it would never end. The second time, it felt bad. It felt like it would never end, but my brain was telling me how much time it would be bad. It was saying, hey, listen, it's gonna be like this, then you're gonna do that, then you're gonna do that, then you have to cross the black forest of sadness, and on the other side, you better, and then you're just starting to have a bunch of other girls. And it actually got much better, I would say. It got faster. The last time I had my heart broken was probably 11 years ago. Yeah, 10 years ago. And on that one, I just got in engineer mode. I was just like, all right, here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna do this, then we're gonna do that, then we're gonna do this, then we're gonna feel sad for X amount of days, probably, maybe that much. And then after that, the faster we start kissing other girls, the faster we'll get better, the faster we get our ego boost when another girl tells us, oh my God, that was so good. And we're not going to feel like shit. And we know exactly the right girl that lives in London that is going to enjoy this. And then we know exactly how to, and I actually worked through the heartbreak as if I was programmed, because I lived it a few times. And I've learned to move on from people. I learned to move on from business partners. And I also learned to move on from dreams the same way. And I believe that it's one of my superpowers. A lot of people get obsessed with whatever they had, and they are so much obsessed with whatever they had that they don't give themselves the possibility to move on to something that might be better. Because all we think about usually is, I cannot live here because that's the best thing I ever had. And if I live here, somebody will be here in my place. But maybe when you live here, you're going there. And it's only when you're there that you realize, oh, it's better than here. And the problem is that most people, because they are obsessed with being here, they don't want to move here and they end up here. And that's really something I learned from my love life, but also working with artists, working with bad business partners, and dreaming of things that happened, but also things that didn't happen. Sometimes what you want doesn't happen. And if it doesn't happen, if you can understand that it's not going to happen, but that what happens is actually something that is different, maybe sometimes not better, just different. It might be exactly the same level, but instead of being in one place, it's better in another place. And it might not be where you want it, but it's actually taking you somewhere. I really thought that I would be a rap star. I really wanted to make hip hop and be respected in the French hip hop community and outside. And I ended up becoming a Zouk star. And in the beginning, when I was #1 selling Zouk artist, I had no idea what to do with that, because it was never my dream to even sing a Zouk song. Kizomba, all that stuff. I was not listening to that music. I wanted to be hip hop R&B. But becoming a Zouk star gave me an international market that maybe if I tried to just be a rap star, I might have just stayed in a French market. I don't know. Maybe I would have been huge as a rap star. Who knows? In another timeline, maybe I am. But in this timeline, what I made from what I got was that at a point, I look at my dreams of being a hip hop artist, and I look at my reality of being a mix of hip hop, kizomba, zouk, and compa, and whatever. And I was like, well, I'm making money. Tons of money. Girls are screaming my name. People still seem to love that stuff that I'm doing. That mix of rap and zouk. In Portugal, they call it kizomba. In France, they call it zouk. And when I go to the US, they say, oh, it's like Caribbean R&B. It's like soca. And they call it how they want. I don't really care. I'm actually fulfilling my dream of success, but not as what I thought I would be. And at a point, I just let go of that rap dreams and I focused on what I was doing now. At a point, I start saying to myself, I'm going to let go of being an artist and a celebrity to go where the real money is, which in the shadows. And I'm start producing artists like Elisio, ABG, Sumia, etc., making beats for Nelson Freitas, etc., and starting to own catalog, because I understood very early that that would be what I would be able to do after the shows. And I still did shows for years and years, but I was already making more money outside of the shows because I was ready to let go the idea of performing. And probably I still have some show proposals. I'm gonna do some shows in this summer, but I would say that probably a little bit before the pandemic, the shows really stopped slowly, and I don't really make shows anymore. I used to be in a plane every week, going to perform somewhere, and today I don't really do shows. My price are higher, so some people can't afford me. But in reality, I let go the idea of being a performer on stage long time ago, probably 10 years ago. I let that go because I needed to make some space in my I needed to make some space in my mental and in the visions that I have for what I'm doing now, which is this live stream twice a week and working on the catalog and generating more money. Today I generate more money than when I was 25 and I was performing 2 times every week, and I was running between trains and planes and automobiles, and I was doing my first tweets in 2007 and saying, hello, I'm here, I'm in Mozambique, taking a plane, going to this, and I just met that girl. All that stuff. From my sofa today, I make twice as much money than when I was running around with everybody trying to be number one. And today, I look at the people who are number one, and some of them, they look at me and they're like, yeah, I'm number one now. And I look at them and I'm like, yeah, enjoy. Enjoy your little money on the top. That's not where the money is, bro. Yeah, enjoy being a superstar. You are making money for Sony Music, Universal, all these people. I'm generating money for me. I make 100% of the profits. You make 10% of the profits. But I understood that so long ago that at a point you have to understand that you have to let go the emotional part, the ego. You have to let go this idea of, hey, I'm number one. Or when I walk in the shopping center, everybody wants to take a picture with me. I did that for 20 years. And listen, I did a photo yesterday. I went to the McDonald's at 9 a.m. with my daughter, and the girls that were working at the cashier all told me, oh, we are Cap Virgins, we love you, can we take photos? Took photos, it was cool. And even if I enjoy the love that people continue to give me after 30 years of career, 25 years, of careers. But my mind is not there. I accept when it comes, but I never did. First of all, I never did it for the fame. But when you let go this idea of celebrity, you can focus on what is important. If you know that you have one song, with just that one song, 1 month of people playing that song on just Spotify, not Apple Music, not Tidal, not YouTube, just on Spotify. 1 month of these song streams can pay you the best private school for the whole year. For your daughter, the expensive school, you just need 1 month of streaming. You in an amazing place, because you can really plan, because you can see your numbers. You know exactly how much money you're going to get at the end of every month. And you are not like an artist a performer who sometimes there's a show that gets canceled, or you have to negotiate. No. And you don't care about being famous, being the number one, all that stuff, because you have the superpower to let go. And I learned this from heartbreaks, but I applied this to business. And this is why it connects with what I was saying earlier. if somebody comes with the right amount of money and tells me, I was having this conversation with Nelson Freitas last week, and I was like, okay, if somebody gives you and Nelson is a super smart person, and I was like, do you have a price in your head where you sell everything? And he was like, oh yeah, of course, I already have my calculation. And we were both talking about, and I was like, yeah. And to me, I also have a price in my head. I have a price in my head where I sign straight away and I sell everything. YouTube channel, everything. And it doesn't mean that after that I stop making music. I'm going to continue making music. It doesn't mean I'm going to stop making my show. I'm just going to say, listen, you can take all the songs, all the stuff, but my 300 episodes of Club Shada, I'm taking everything with me. I'm putting everything in my new channel, and now that's what I do. And I don't do it for money, because now I'm a multimillionaire. So I'm going to do it for different things, so I can express conversation and I can be uncancelable because I own everything. And then the music, you guys can keep it. And a lot of people, their emotions, their ego is going to prevent them from selling. It's going to be like, oh yeah, and they're not going to be able to move on from what they built before. And you see, when Justin Timberlake, when Justin Bieber, when Dr. Dre, they sold their catalogs for like 200 million, 250 million, 150 million, whatever amount. Some people sold for 10 million, some people sold for 50 million. You see people in the comment that don't even make 10,000 every year. It's not worth that money. Why are they selling? Idiot. Why did you sell your catalog? You were supposed to give it to your kid. And you're like, bro, 200 million? Do you know what you can do with 200 million? You got 200 million. You just invest it in different places and you're good. You can have an empire of apartments. You can have, you can even invest in the next big companies. You can invest in the next AI companies, and maybe those 100 million that you invested here and there can turn into $1 billion in 10 years. Like, you can now invest in the next phase of your life. You don't have to be an artist anymore. You don't have to be there making beats or grinding anymore. You can now be on a different conversation in different rooms with different people, and you can have conversations that might shape the future for everybody else. Listen, when I became a label owner and I was making careers for other people, I was changing the destiny of people. Listen, it's amazing to change your own destiny. But when you launch the career of Elisio and you change his life. You launch the career of Tia, you change her life. Sumia, you change her life. Taina, you change her life. The etc., etc., etc. It's a different conversation. The other artists, maybe they think that you like them, but you're not like them. They're here, you there. We might be singing together on the same, but we're not the same. You are a singer. I make singers. It's a different conversation. Don't get it twisted. It's not because I'm cool that we're on the same level. And it doesn't mean that you're disrespectful to them. You don't have a reason to. It's just that it's not the same conversation. You make your songs. It's great. I love them. Love what you do. I did 10 albums in 1 year. Some people, I did my album. Me, some years, I did 10 albums. Les DS, Elisio, ABG, my own album, Deeper for Nelson Freitas, this and that, working on multiple things and at the same time touring and at the same time running a company. It's not the same conversation as somebody who's just making songs. And listen, I'm an artist. I have the utmost respect to artists. It's still not the same conversation. You're not already in the same field, in the same level as the people that you're talking to. And When you reach a level when you have multiple millions in your bank account and you can invest in changing the destiny of art itself, you can sponsor people, you can do a festival with your money. You can sit down with sponsors that wouldn't talk to you. You can sit down with them and tell them, hey, I'm going to invest this amount in this, and I want you to invest this, this, and this. And in exchange, we do this, this, this. And, oh, I would love to have my money, my music in a movie one day. Well, you can invest in a movie yourself or in a documentary. You're not in the same conversation. It's the same thing as making music videos and owning a TV channel. It's not the same conversation. And most time, what makes the difference between those who stay somewhere and those that stagnate at a certain level and those who continue going up is their ability to move on. When you have an ability to move on, you are not emotionally attached to the level where you are. You are looking up. And when it's time to go up, you go up without emotion. It's like, next. And, you know, it really changes everything. And it is a, I mean, listen, I guess I know of how to reverse engineer my own emotions and how I got somewhere. And I know how to look behind and be like, okay, it took me that time to leave a certain situation. I knew I had to do this and that. And at a point, I know how to make the period of heartbreak pain shorter, because I become proactive in understanding what I have to do. Even if, listen, the suffering is the same, but you understand the phases of it. So you just go through every day and you start making your moves. Learning that made me understand a lot of things about just the business itself. I got people that stole 100K from me, and today they regret because the million I made after, I made it myself. And if those people didn't steal 100K from me, maybe from that million, they would have made 500K, because we would still have been partners and it would be 50-50. And those people today, they see the success of something going on and they're like, damn, that guy keeps going up. Oh Lord, if 20 years ago I didn't screw that guy, I would make money from that song. And now I'm just a spectator. And they cannot even call me because I move on from people the same way. Listen, I can move on from family members as well. Moving on is a superpower that you have to train in acquiring that superpower, because this can help you in so many situations. It can help you in situations where your ego is preventing you from moving on, or your idea of what a family should be is preventing you from moving on from bad actors in your family. Your idea of what loyalty is preventing you from moving on from people who are not respecting you. You're part of the business. And at a point you move on, and actually you start making better for yourself, even if you want it to be as a family. Sometimes it doesn't work. You have to do it yourself. And for that, you have to know and learn how to move on. A lot of artists today are huge. I was having a conversation with a young artist, a young Cape Verdean artist that is the best of his generation. And I was telling him, are you ready for when your time will pass? Are you ready for when the new kids, that when you get to 30, 35, the kids who are 10 today, they will be 20 and they will be the new hot thing in town. Are you getting ready for that today? If you get ready for that today, when it's your turn to move on, Letting your place doesn't mean that you are going down. Sometimes you let your place to go to the next level. Maybe being famous is level 5, but if you can move on from that, you might go to level 10. All the artists that I know who didn't know how to move on from fame and from, all doing all these shows and etc., they all failed because they didn't understand there's a window of opportunity to go to something else. And listen, again, I encourage everybody to try to ask themselves if they have the power to move on from businesses, from people, from life situations, from trauma, from everything in life. Can you at a point move on? Listen, I learned how to move on from horrible questions that I never had the answer to. And I learned to move on at a point and say to myself, the answer to that question I'm asking myself will not change nothing anymore today. So I don't need the answer to the question. So fuck the question. And then you are happy because you don't care. Moving on is a superpower.